Hi everyone, it's Krista and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new, hi again. So this is my channel. I love to make all kinds of DIYs on a budget. I also love to do thrift flips and I also love to make wreaths. I have a wreath shop, so if you're interested, I will have that link down below. If you like what you see here, remember to hit that red subscribe button. Also leave me a comment and give me a thumbs up. So you can also find me on Instagram and Pinterest. I will have those links down below. And like I said, I have a wreath shop. It's an Esty shop. I will have that link down below as well. Today is 5 under $5. Our hosts are Crafty Cove and Farm Charm Chic, and our co-host is the Rusted Willow. More of that in a minute, but let's get into DIY number 1. So for the first DIY, basically what we're doing is we're trying to make crafts that are under $5. So I have those 3 small little shelf, they're like little drawers they look like, and those 3 stars all came in a package together. And I'm going to take the hardware off of the front of these drawers, or whatever you would like to call them. And once you take that off, it has those little holes, but I just sand them and kind of flatten them, but you're not going to see them anyways because we're going to stack these on top of each other. So after I get through sanding those down, I'm going to take some of the scrapbooking paper that I showed you in the beginning, and I'm going to try and figure out the inside perimeter of these boxes. So what I did is the part that you see that you can't really take off, like normally the Dollar Tree boxes, you could pull that bottom part off, but these ones are pretty sturdy, so you can't do that. So what I did is I just kind of traced them the best I could, and then I cut them down to size, and then I just traced those onto the other sheets that I'm using, and we're going to put them inside of each one of those little boxes. And they're going to be like our background piece. And I did the same thing with the other page of scrapbooking paper. And this was really easy to make, super cheap, and it looks so cute. And so next what I did is I came in with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white, and I painted the first star, and then the other 2, of course, I did with the red Waverly chalk paint. This one is lacquer, and the last one is the blue, which is ocean. And I did each one for red, white, and blue because this is all Patriotic Decor that I'm doing today. And that is what we're supposed to be doing for the theme for the 5 under $5. So you're going to see a lot of wonderful Patriotic in the playlist. So next I'm going to take my stencil brush, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some Waverly antique wax, and I'm going to do the edges and make them look rustic and a little bit, used, worn. I like that look. And then I just dry brushed on the top part of each of these as well. Next, I'm going to just use some glue. This is just your glue sticks that you get at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to glue those down inside my boxes. Don't need to use Mod Podge for this part. And then I just took some scrap pieces of box, and I ended up gluing them together, a couple pieces, because I want my stars to kind of sit up a little bit and not be flat on the back. So gives it a little 3D effect. And I'm going to start gluing those down into the center of my inside of my boxes. So I did red, white, and blue, just like so. And this was, like I said, so easy to make and cheap. Was not expensive at all. I think the total I paid was $3 for the boxes, maybe $3.50. And then the stars I already had in my stash, and also the scrapbook paper. So those I don't count because I had them for over a year. So really easy stuff. And you can use any scrapbook paper that you like, that you have that's patriotic or whatever. And yeah. And then what I did is I took some wood glue because I wanted these to really stay glued together. So I mixed it with the wood glue and also hot glue. And the glue sticks I use are the Gorilla Glue sticks. So, and there you go. And now I'm going to put the other one on top. And I kind of staggered them, like one going one way, one going the other way, so that it would just give it a cool effect, I guess. I don't know. And that's what I did for this DIY. And the next DIY, oh, here's your close-up. And I just love the way this turned out. It looks so cute. And the next DIY, oh yes. So first, I wanted to tell you about 5 and under. So everything, like I said, has to be 5. We're doing 5 under $5. And like I said, those are your hosts and also your co-host. And there's also going to be a playlist, so make sure you check all the links down in my description box. And next, I found this at Hobby Lobby. And this was on sale. They're having their orange sticker sale and they're getting rid of stuff. And it was a Patriotic canvas, but I'm going to use it for another DIY, the actual canvas part of this. What I wanted was I wanted to use the frame. I never throw anything out, so I'm definitely going to be using the outside portion of this because I like the saying, and it was by Ronald Reagan, our ex-president, and yeah. So first I took that off, and what I use is I use my little knife to cut that canvas off, because you're not going to see the back anyways, and there were so many staples, it would have took me forever to get it off. So that's why I just cut around it. And then what I did is I went in with my antique wax, and I painted this whole frame, and look at how beautiful this frame is, you guys. And then I just rubbed off the excess with a paper towel. So very easy to do. And there it is, all done. And now I'm going to take this scrapbook paper that I just used from the other one, and I'm going to use the rest of it up in this DIY. And I'm going to glue it down on top, on the bottom of this frame. So it covers up all that bad stuff. And that's what I did there. But you got to be really careful because this doesn't have a backing, so it's easy to poke a hole through it. So just be really careful if you don't use a backing. And then what I did is I took one of these stars from the Dollar Tree, one of the big ones, and I'm just chalk painting it with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. Really simple, super easy DIY this was too. And this is similar to the other one, only we're using a bigger frame to actually put a star in. So, and then I went around the edge of it as well with my Waverly chalk paint in antique wax, to give it that rustic look and worn look. I just love that look, and that's most of my Patriotic Decor is that this year is what I'm doing is I'm using that rustic look, rustic patriotic. And then I just went across it with my dry brush and dry brush the whole thing with the antique wax. And then I went over it again with my sander, my little sander, finger sander. And I just sanded it to smooth everything out. And now I'm going to take this America sign that you get these in a package from Hobby Lobby. They're like 40% off of, I think it's $2.99. So it barely costed anything. And you get like a lot of them in there. You get like 3 of each, I think. So, and then I took some raffia, and I'm going to put I like kind of gathered it together to make like a bow in the center. And then what I did is I just wrapped it to tie it with my jute twine. And then I'm going to take one of those laser cut wooden stars that you get in a pack at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to put that in the center of my raffia bow. And that's really it, you guys. This turned out super cute. I absolutely love this one too. And all this decor is up in my house, and it just looks so great, you guys. And I just hot glued the top of that to the top where that hole is so you don't see it. And then I put the star in the center. And that was it for this DIY, except for we're going to glue it onto the frame now. So that was the only other thing I did. I just put a little hot glue on each one of the tips of the star, and I glued it down to the front of my frame. And that's it. And here's your close-up. So next DIY is DIY number 3. This one was super fun too. All of these really were. But I had to do a book stack because I didn't do one last year. So I'm using all this good stuff you see here. So I have a napkin. I have this old book stack from the Dollar Tree that was from Valentine's Day, some stickers, some of that ribbon that you saw there, and some of my paint and some jute twine and some Mod Podge. And what I did is I took my tape first and I taped down the top section where the white is and the bottom section, so that I made sure that I stayed in the lines and I didn't go over on any of the other parts, because of course I'm going to do red, white, and blue. And so the first color I went in with was the red by Waverly. This is the lacquer again. I used the same colors throughout this whole DIY. And I did the sides of the book stack and then the front, you know, to cover up that lettering. And then the bottom part I did in the ocean color. So I just redid my tape and put it on top of the red once it was all, you know, dry. And then I just went in with the blue on the bottom. And I kept the white top of this the way it was, because it was already that washed white color. And I liked it. So, and I was going to be covering it with the napkin, so I didn't really need to do that. So I took the extra ply of napkin off and threw that out because I don't need it. And now we're going to put the top part of this Mod Podge it onto the top part of our book stack. Now I know it doesn't reach all the way to the end of the napkin. It doesn't matter because that part's going to be covered with that ribbon I showed you, the burlap ribbon. And so I just smoothed out my Mod Podge, and then I stuck the flag on top, and I wanted the stars and some of the stripes to show. And then I smoothed that out, and then I cut the excess off of the top. And then, of course, I sanded it too to make sure I got those edges off. But first, I Mod Podged the top so that it sealed that napkin down and it wasn't going to come up or anything or rip or anything. And that just helped secure it. And then once I did that, I went in with the white Waverly chalk paint, and I went around the sides and the front of my book stack. And I love the way this book stack turned out too. This was one of my favorites as well. But like I said, you guys got to let me know what you think in the comment section below. And then I got in between all the nooks and crannies of the book stack, and I went around the top too with my dry brush, and I dry brushed on some of the Waverly antique wax. I went around the whole book stack in those cracks and on the edges and on the top. And I just made it look old. And that's all I really did. And this turned out so cute, you guys. I absolutely love this one too. I never got to make one last year because I don't know why I didn't really, but I didn't get a chance to make one. And then I was so sorry I didn't. So I'm glad I did get to do one this year, because I'm in so many collabs this time that I was able to make a lot of the Patriotic Decor this year. So I was really happy about that. And like I said, I went around the edges and everything. And then you'll see me come in next. I'm going to come in with my lettering. And I did end up changing my letter stickers that I use. I went with a bigger font than the one that I showed you in the beginning. And then I dry brushed the whole thing. So I dry brushed the sides, the front, the top, just to give it that rustic, worn look that I've been doing throughout the other, just like I did with the other ones. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to put on my saying on my book stack, which is Stars and Stripes Forever. And that's what I put with my black letters. So if you don't have a Cricut, you can use the stickers from the Dollar Tree, because that's what these are. Super easy. And I've had these stickers like forever. They last a long time. So now I'm taking some of this, it's like a Distress Oxide, and it's like an ink pad, and you could get this at any craft store. And what I did is I used my little sponge brush, and I'm just dabbing it on, and I'm making it look a little bit older looking, a little bit more distressed, so it matches everything. And then I'm going to wrap that around my book stack. And I just used a little hot glue and glued it down on the bottom. Really super easy. And this ribbon I got last year during fall at Hobby Lobby when their stuff was on sale. So I always buy stuff when it's on sale. And there it is. And then I'm going to, and then it went rolling off my desk, but I took some of this jute twine. It's like cotton twine, and the red and the blue. And I got this at the Dollar Tree like 2 years ago, I think. I still have all this bunch left. And I used that, and I just wrapped it a few times around my book stack as well, just to give it another color. And then I did the same thing with the blue. I just glued it to the underneath my books, and then I just wrapped it a few times. And then I glued it to the bottom. Super easy, guys. So simple these are, and yet, you know, they look so good. I mean, I just love making my own DIY crafts. I just love decorating my house with them. There's nothing better than a homemade craft, right? And then once that was all done, I took one of these that I actually Mod Podged from one of the napkins that you saw me do on the top of the book. And I just did it on a little star, and I stuck it on the top. And it's all done. Stars and Stripes forever. There it is. There's your close-up. And now DIY number 4. Moving along really quick here. This one is really super fast. So I took one of these ladders that they have at the Dollar Tree with the home sign on it. And I'm going to use one of those stars that I Mod Podged with a napkin. And I'm going to take off this greenery that's on the front, which was stapled down. And when I pulled it up, boom, I ripped part of it off. So what did I do? It was going to be covered anyways with the stuff that I'm putting on it. So I just glued it back on with my hot glue gun. And you can't even tell. You cannot even tell. And I took this pick that I had left over from last year from Hobby Lobby. It was the end of 4th of July, and they had these left over, and I think they were like 60 or 70% off, these picks, and I just bought them when they had them on sale. So I could use them this year because, like I said, I didn't get to make as many last year of my Patriotic Decor. So this worked out perfect for this year. And then I took some of those little beads too. That was another pick that I got. And then I just took some twine after I took them off of the picks, and I just put the twine around the bottom part of it so you don't see the stems when I glue it down. And it also leaves it, you know, it has them stuck together with the twine, so it worked out super easy. And I just kept wrapping, and then I just glued it down in the back, the twine, and then I just cut the excess off. And then we're going to take that star and we're going to put it in the center where the O is. Now, you can't take these apart, you could take the whole sign off, but the letters don't come apart. So I just glued this on top of the O, and it was fine for me. I mean, you guys could do you, but this was fine for me. I didn't want to mess up that home sign, so I just left it. I let it be, because if you try to mess with stuff too much, most of the time you're going to break it. Take it from experience. So there it is, you guys. I think this turned out super cute. It was so easy and so inexpensive to make. And now on to our last DIY, number 5. I love this one too. So I'm going to use the calendar from this year, and it's from the farmhouse one and from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to use this sign from the Dollar Tree, and then leftover napkin. Again, I'm using for those stars that you see there. And what I did first is this sign had a lot of glitter on it. So I sanded off the glitter, and then I put my round down to trace it onto my calendar picture that I'm using. And I just traced it with my pencil, and then I cut it off. And after I did that, then the ends of it, when I put the calendar down on top, you could still see the green, because these calendars are really thin, the paper. So I decided to just go around the edges of that green, and I did it with the white chalk paint just to cover that green up so you couldn't see it. And that was good enough. So it worked out perfect. And then what I did is I just used a glue stick. I didn't use Mod Podge to put this down because I didn't need to, because like I said, the paper is really thin, and the glue stick worked just fine. And I just really went crazy with that glue stick. And then once I got all the glue down, I just put it on top, and I try to do my holes like so that they're together. And I didn't put a ribbon on top of this, but it's staying in my house. I might hang it. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with it. So I didn't show you guys actually because I didn't know what I was going to do. So then what I did is the excess paper, I just used my sander and sanded that off. And now I'm just going to go in with my antique wax by Waverly, and I'm going to just stress the edges like I've done in all of these. And I go over the top of it as well with the antique wax. And it's just a dry brush, super easy. And I went all the way around the whole sign. And then, like I said, I did the top real lightly. I didn't do a heavy brush on this. And yeah. And then if you do too much on these, though, what you could do is you could use a wipey, because these are so, like, I don't know, shiny that it just wipes right off. And now I'm going to show you how I Mod Podge the stars, because I know I showed you in the other couple that I did. So what I did is I just used the Mod Podge, put it down on my star, and then I just put the napkin on top, and I did that for both of these. And then I just cut around them with my scissors to get the excess paper that was around them. And this is just one technique that you can use to do this, but I know there's many other ways, but I just started using this way and I really like it. So then I cut around and got most of the paper off around the star. And now I'm going to take my lighter and I'm going to, so be very careful. I'm telling you guys in this video, be very careful. Do not burn yourself, especially when you're doing small pieces like this. Got to make sure you get everything away from you that's flammable. Just get it out of there. And then I use one of these long lighters from the Dollar Tree that you would use for a grill. And it just burns, and it burns off the napkin part that doesn't have the Mod Podge on it. So very easy technique, you guys. So I did a big one with the stars, and then I did these two small ones that you just saw me do. And I'm just going to glue those down on my sign. And that was it for this DIY, you guys. But I mean, you could put a bow on the top where that hole is, or you could hang it. I kind of just left it open for you guys to figure out what you wanted to do, but this is what I do. And, you know, I change my mind all the time when I'm in the middle of a craft. So, you know, you do you. And this is just supposed to be for inspiration for you guys. So I hope you guys like everything. You're going to get a close-up in a minute. And please don't forget to check everyone out in the playlist and check out our hosts and the co-hosts. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, remember, stay crafty. Bye.